Here comes a new trainer, fresh from the dojo. But fair, we're fresh from the dojo, too. Shh, silence. We challenge you, stranger. Oh, man. I do really like the card animations for this. It almost makes more sense than Pokemon. Not really, but still. Let's see, does he have 20? Yeah, he probably has a combined of 29. Fomu is super cute. And the weird foam horse that I saw earlier, I don't think that was a Fomu. I think it was just something else. But that'll be okay. Okay, it didn't take too much damage there. Oh, but they have their own Swelling and Genki. And that doesn't actually let me switch, does it? Hmm. Actually, I mean, honestly, let's bring in Gas Bag. And we'll go from here. Ooh, Stardew Valley has sold over 10 million copies as of today. Yeah, that's super incredible, honestly. I think Stardew Valley was one of the first games that I ever saw that really made me think, man, AAA games could actually, like, 100%, I'm not gonna say unseat, or indie games could unseat AAA, but, like, some indie games could absolutely just, yeah, rise above, you know, the standard AAA release schedule. And that, for me, is actually really cool. Because you really don't see a whole lot of those, and it's exciting. I don't know. I like the AAA industry. They do good things. They also do a lot of kind of mediocre things. Told ya. Ah. Let's see. Not a whole lot of reason why I specifically want to hang out here, because this is just like Paros and whatnot. Eric Barone has done really well with it. Oh, is Eric Barone, Concerned Ape's name? Actually had no idea. So this would probably be the ideal place to train Genki, because Genki can just one-shot these Paros. Yeah, this game only wanted 70k for their Kickstarter, which I think is super impressive. Admittedly, it's probably true that they already had outside funding. They definitely had a previous game to rely on, and they're not a big team. Let's see. I'm just gonna go up the list, or down the list on this one. You get way more out of the small studios than out of AAA side of things. There's a couple of AAA games that really speak to me, but no, it has almost always been the indie games that actually have, like, made me think and feel? That sounds weird. But, like, last night, Michelle and I finished freaking Mythic Ocean, effectively just a choose-your-own-adventure visual novel. And, like, she was actually tearing up a little bit at the end of it, because it was just that, like, that solid of a game within its limited scope. And there's only been a couple of games that really get me in the same way. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn, really good. Spider-Man, really good. God of War, really good. Doom, really good. I can't name a whole lot of immediate other AAA games that I'm super excited about that don't come out of Nintendo. And even then, like, Nintendo products, I'm kind of hit or miss. I prefer Nintendo's, like, really experimental stuff. Like, Ring Fit, it still remains probably my favorite game to come out of Nintendo in all of last year, and they had some bangers. Link's Awakening was damn good, but just, you know, I mean, obviously it was a remake. Yeah, the other issue with AAA industry is the systemic mistreatment of their workers in the field. Yeah. I sometimes wonder if the idea of the big AAA blockbuster absolutely ruined the AAA industry. That they're always going for the biggest, most impressive games ever. And as such, nothing else matters, and no other options make sense. And I have a hard time believing that you couldn't restructure a bigger studio to just poop out a bunch of really cool lower budget indie style games and actually, I bet you could do better than that. Like, better than normal. That's why a game like Lost Sphere does well. Maybe Lost Sphere was weird. I have no idea if they turned a profit or not. I also have no idea what the work culture for Tokyo RPG Factory is. But, like, how would I describe it? I don't know. Like, I know the indie side of things absolutely works themselves to the bone, too. And I've definitely seen, like, indie developers work unhealthy levels to get their game out. But, like, at least for them, let's see, Windburst is special. It's probably better than Windblade. Yeah, it's better than Windblade. Other Gatling is physical, does more damage, costs more stamina. We'll do that. Okay, let's see. Gotta double check. Squad. What should Benabra be working towards? Benabra is absolutely a physical attacker. Just Shrill Voice. Shrill Voice is also special. Honestly, in general, I would say we're probably going to want to switch my toucan out along the way. Let's see, Americans are lazy. Americans are not lazy. I think the American, like, productivity level is actually concerning. Because so many of us are, like, working ourselves to the bone for very, very little. Every once in a while I read about productivity statistics in comparison to, like, wages and life balance, and it gets worse and worse every year. And it's just like, yeesh. Conversation makes me think of when, let's see, games being made like a work of art with care stood out from the AAA games being pumped out. I mean, I think games absolutely still fulfill or fit that niche or that description. Like, the games that really stand out are the ones that had, like, heart and soul put into them. Whereas, like, I know Call of Duty and whatnot generally is always, like, the most quote-unquote successful game every year. But you never actually hear anybody talking about them positively as much. Okay, this is starting to branch really hard conversation-wise between work ethic and AAA and whatnot. Suffice to say, like, I'm not really comfortable with how the games industry currently is, and I wish everybody just went indie, because I like indie games better. But I realize, actually, that's almost worse, though, because I'm going to focus on one topic. I'm going to turn off, or not turn off chat. I'm just not going to look at chat for a little bit. We're trying to get Janky up to level 12 at least before I start taking on trainers, otherwise we're going to get wrecked. Yeah, indie games are a lot of work. Yes. The reason why I like indie games so much is because it feels like the creators of indie games almost always at least benefit the most from it. It's rare that you'll just have, like, the indie game studio have, like, employees that don't profit well off the success-ish. And I realize that's being hyperbolic. There are absolutely indie game developers that get screwed. I mean, taking a look at Chucklefish. Oops, this is somebody's house. Wait, what? Why are there so many people in here? I have no idea. That's weird. Bye. But yeah, Starbound. Yeah, Starbound is an example. Though those people weren't employees, which is kind of the shitty part, is effectively Chucklefish was like, give us free art, and a bunch of kids were like, sure thing! This looks amazing! And then, like, years later, they're like, oh shit, we should have been paid for that. And Chucklefish is like, then you shouldn't have volunteered, numbnuts! And boy, that's a bad attitude. That's a terrible attitude. I do not like that. Whoops. No. Good day, sir. Would you care for a Temtem battle? Pass the time. It's a long man. I'd love to fight you. We'd love to fight you. Let's see. But no, I might be a little bit biased on the whole, like, indie game thing, because the one thing about indie games is Feather Gatling, Saku, DC Beam, back up a bit. You want to just go all in? Yeah, let's just go all in on the Yukama. Just to make sure it does not survive. That might be able to do it. Eesh. Okay. Didn't quite kill it. Then again, we are underleveled. I think Yukama's also... Let's do that. I don't think DC Beam's going to do much at all to Saku. It wasn't not effective. Oh, that's a benefit at the very least. Ow, janky. Okay, Babug? Yeah, let's let Babug do it. Love Chucklefish's games, but they're not a good company. I think they've improved from all accounts that I've heard, but that is not a very good start, at the very least. Then again, the recent, I don't know. We'll see. But talking about indie games, I was actually reading a, I guess I would call it an expose by Mike Rose, who's a publisher of publisher at No More Robots? I think it's a publisher. It's like a publisher, media group, whatever. Not so fortunate after all, Huh. And we win. There we go. But he was talking about how most indie games need to sell about 9,000 copies. Not to break even, but for the developers that worked on them. To make more than minimum wage. Why do I keep going in this house? Let's see. And that actually, hearing that actually made me really sad. Because, like, I want to say only 10% of indie games actually manage to do so. And that's sad. Because I feel like a lot of indie games and indie developers really do kind of deserve that. I want to take a look. Sharpleaf is physical. Okay, so actually him using Sharpleaf is good. And Urushiel. Okay, that's a good thing. Because, like, I've got, I actually have a lot of friends that are, yeah, the game market is saturated, sadly. It is definitely saturated. I think the other problem is, people are very much spoiled by a lot of really, really cheap indie games, too. Those of us who are fans of games are super saturated with things to play. Yeah, it's a mix of, there are too many indie developers and not enough time to finish all their games. A lot of games are too long, just baseline. And so, like, a lot of people aren't willing to switch around. I think people are absolutely spoiled by, like, the Steam game sale culture. Because I was actually... we've had a couple of people drop by this stream tonight specifically to ask if this game's worth the $35. And that's actually a fairly unique thing. I don't generally get a whole lot of people that are like, is this worth it? When I'm playing an indie game, it's just kind of like, oh, I haven't heard of this game. This looks neat. And I'll say it's worth the $10, $15 or something like that. But I've actually had people straight up, like, yell at me saying that $35 is too much for this game. And I hadn't really thought about this until, yeah, the Mike Rose thing, and then, you know, people yelling at me about this game, of sitting down and being like, oh, shoot, yeah, there are certain people that just believe video games should never be more than, like, $10, $15 because they've bought all of their games on the hella cheap from Steam. And I think those people are fine, but I think that's kind of a bad attitude to have, because then it convinces all developers that their games need to be cheaper than X value. Which I think is risky, because then it's like, yeah, if you can't sell enough copies, you're just doomed, but if you make it cheaper, maybe you'll sell more. But actually, from what I've heard and found, price does not have as much of an effect on sales numbers as it does just, like, sheer advertising, frustratingly enough. So you don't think this is worth $35 yet, in early access? I do. I'm probably easily going to get 30 hours out of this, which is more than most. Admittedly, a lot of that is grinding, but, like, I'm gonna get... I spent $60 in Sword and Shield, and while it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was going to be, it also wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. This is better. So, like, even if this game has only half the content of Sword and Shield, if it's half the price, to me, that's very much worth it. Hey, come here, look at this Temtem I just caught. I bet you can't beat me if I use this one. Alright. Let's see if you can walk the, let's see if you can walk the walk. Get ready. I don't even know what I said. Oh, is that the FOMU evolution? So the FOMU evolution isn't the weird big deer thing. What the? Shell will love it. It's a little weird for me. I will agree that I do think this game would actually be better off if they had an offline-only mode. I don't really know why they had to make this an MMO. It should have honestly just been lobby with your friends, but eh. But, like, I don't know, grand scheme of things, how'd you do that? I thought this Temtem was invincible. Grand scheme of things, though, I still feel like this is a, this is still, like, an absolutely fantastic monster collector, and, like, the price tag doesn't bother me. I kickstarted it. This is actually one of the few games I've ever spent money on, period. I'm not in the mood for a chat, but I could use a fight. Let's rumble. Let's see, online is slightly harder to cheat. I guess that's fair. There is that, but, like, I feel like you could still put in cheat protections and then still keep it largely offline only. Because my one eternal fear with stuff that is offline only is... or that is online only, is that someday the game studio will shutter, and no one will ever be able to play it anymore. And, like, I really like WildStar. I think WildStar is actually a really cool MMO. And, boy howdy, I'm never going to be able to play it again. And that pisses me off a little bit, actually. Like... I don't know, I feel like any developer that ever makes an offline-only game, if they start to, like, lose money or whatnot, they should absolutely port their game into this kind of, like, weird solo-only mode. Or, like, Borderlands. Just make it so you can play the game Borderlands style with just, like, a lobby with friends. Problem solved, and never have to worry about, people being like, man, that game would have been good. Let's see. It was the one superhero MMO that fans managed to get custom service running. Yeah! Wasn't Champions Online. It was City of Heroes. There we go. City of Heroes was really fun. That was quite a fight. Wow, let me catch my breath. I loved City of Heroes. It was not the best MMO I've ever played, but it was pretty good. Probably hasn't aged well, but I played so much time. Make a solo lobby form of Final Fantasy 11 or even 14. Like, I was playing Final Fantasy 14, I was thinking, I actually really like the story mode for this game. If they just repackaged it for like $100, buy the game, never play with another single person, but all of the content is just repackaged so you can play it alone, I'd pay that in a heartbeat. It's a great time for some Temtem sparring. No introductions? Sorry, I'm Valeria. I'm Wanderbot. Pleasure to meet you, Wanderbot. Let's get down to business. To defeat the Hans! There's like a secret private copy of the official servers of City of Heroes. Yeah, somebody managed to... They managed to, like, recreate a private server of City of Heroes, but wouldn't share the source code with anybody else. Or maybe they just had access to the source code? I don't know, it got kind of confusing. And then, if the history of how City of Heroes became, like, private server capable recently, is just a wild story. I can't reiterate it very well because it's been so long, since I read the whole thing, but, like, it apparently was a little bit more dramatic than just like, oh yeah, we found the source code and we actually got it working. Because there was, like, actual backstabbing that went into, like, getting their hands on it and stuff. Oh hey, gas bag's evolving. Admittedly, I do not actually like this evolution nearly as much. Like, Kaku is cute. Saku just looks kind of weird. Maybe there's a third evolution. I hope there is. You got me there. Well played. See, I think I'd play a lot more MMOs if I just had to buy the game. There was no paywall. Yeah, the problem is, like, MMOs thrive off of that subscription fee so they can make more money. I can't blame them that much. Hey, I've seen you talking to Giovanna. I've seen you talking to Giovanna too. Of course, you fool. You were right by my side. Shut up. You just said we're not on speaking terms. Yeah, I gotta go. Of course you aren't. You're gonna try and steal Giovanna from me. Ridiculous, as if Giovanna would want to give you the time of day. I so don't care. No, wait. What were you telling her? Oh, what is she telling you? That's irrelevant, you fool. That's foolish. You were relevant? She's not interested in you. How do you know that? Is she... Oh, I think she is. Interested in you instead? We'll fight you for it. No, I will. Ow. Yeah, MMOs need to have some sort of ongoing income. They have ongoing costs. They have heavy ongoing costs. And MMOs also tend to have a faster development cycle than most indie games, so you really have to keep that money going, otherwise the studio shuts down really quick. I don't actually think that's good. I don't know, we'll see. That's fine. Let's see, subbing is way better than microtransactions. I'm mixed on that. I think I prefer microtransactions personally, but I think it really is, like, purely a... personal preference kind of thing. Because, like, I really like Guild Wars 2. Okay, I like the idea of it. Whenever I play it, I think I get kind of frustrated because the game is too hard. Like, when I play MMOs, I don't really want to be like, oh shit, you know, I'm dying left and right. I'm much more of a, like, I want to play an MMO and just shut my brain off for a while. Like, this is perfect MMO for me. Guild Wars 2, I actually have to be like, okay, can't just, like, run in here just button mashing and face rolling because I'm gonna get my shit kicked in. Man, they just have a bunch of birds and whatnot. Let's see. But so, you know, I actually have to, like, try in Guild Wars 2, which is a bit of a shame, but it doesn't have a sub fee, and instead has a fairly robust cash shop. And I actually like the cash shop, because then I feel like I'm getting something for my, my money, as opposed to just like, man, I am paying to probably not play this game as much. Like, I started playing Final Fantasy XIV over Christmas, and then had to stop, because I could just see how artificially slow leveling was, just to keep you playing longer, and I just couldn't get into that anymore. How could you? I mean, yeah, how could I lose? The problem with microtransactions, they nearly always, the entire game is built to drive you to them. Ish. I prefer the systems like, Warframe does it a little bit. Warframe does it. You can skip most of the microtransactions and just earn the currency yourself. Which I think is a good system. Do we switch these guys out? Yeah, let's just do Glass and Venabra for a bit. Oh, actually, we could just heal. That's another option. Do I switch that in there? Let's just go until somebody faints. Seems like an easy enough option for me. Does this person have anything he needs to say? Looking for a fight? Just carry on. I'm enjoying the sunshine. Nice day. Yes, if you don't mind, I'd rather be on my own. Right. Bye. Yeah, Path of Exile is kind of okay. See, the thing for me with Path of Exile is all of the microtransactions are like, do you want to look really pretty? Cool. Oh, she picks flowers. Okay, bye. But, like, you don't have to spend money on Path of Exile microtransactions. I guess there's some storage stuff. Yeah, the only microtransactions I like are cosmetic only. Yeah, that's where I am. Give me an MMO with an absolutely insane, with, like, an absolutely insanely large cosmetic shop. I'd be okay with that. Hello, traveler. Who are you? A herbalist and a parfumier. I create natural fragrances from flowers and oils. What are you doing here? Picking lavender for my essential oils and bath salts. Well, not for those. Essential oils. Why not for salts? Well, because I'm out of salt. I was supposed to get a new batch of sea salt from my regular supplier in Turquesa, but the ferry is late. At this rate, I'll find another use for all the lavender I'm picking. I can bring you the salt. Oh, with you. Thank you. If you can find a way to get to Turquesa, bring me some sea salt from Lorenzo's Salt Works. That'd really save the day. We're just gonna get knocked down. Oh, another posh one. Are you with that Arborian woman? No. Oh, thank goodness. These tourists are getting ruder and ruder by the day. Say, let's have a little Temtem fight. I need to blow off some steam. Let's see. These are like cosmetic microtransactions until someone used the salty and read you like a book taunts in a match. Huh. So how about a game museum? The game developers can upload online-only games that are not being serviced anymore, so people might be able to experience them in a limited way funded by fans. I'd absolutely love that. Like, the amount of dead MMOs that have come and gone is actually kind of distressing. And if say, a studio could just, like, get their hands on all of them, not do any dev work, and just say, like, hey, we're going to be working on this game. We're just going to get this game running. People can play it, and, you know, maybe they do a little bit of patching work to get it so it runs on modern platforms, and that's it. That's all they do, and you can just play it as much. Maybe they turn down a little bit of the grind so you don't have, so you can get to max level a little bit faster. Because that's what I used to do specifically with, that's what I used to do with private servers. Back when I was a middle schooler, high schooler. Back when, I think it was pre-Wrath of the Lich King era. Oh! Babug's evolving. Babug evolved into Lawali. Okay, so it gets me Windblade. Oh! So that's what people have been using. Well, let's get rid of Tenderness. Or, no, never mind. We don't need to. Perfect. Great. Just what I needed to brighten my day. Oof. Let's see. They have that right now for the Warhammer MMO. Really? Didn't know about that. Let's see. Let's move Glass up. Because Glass is actually good. No, we don't have tea. What? Tell your mistress we're not her servants, and no, we don't have tea. I'm not who you think I am. I don't care who you are. I don't care who she is. And I'm going to show you who I am. Well, there we go. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. But, like, imagine if you could pay $10 bucks a month to get access to, like, 7 different dead MMOs. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Let's see. Windburst. Windblade. Let's see. Probably hit this one. Well, there goes Barnchy. Bye! See, when you played Final Fantasy XIV, it felt like you were always charging forward. I would absolutely agree. It felt like Final Fantasy XIV was moving faster than most MMOs I've ever played, but it still very much was kind of like, here's just a bunch of really boring quests, and then here's one really good quest that you're going to enjoy. And that was where I started losing interest, because it's just like, man, just make this like a storyline thing, and then just have like a bunch of cool, interesting dungeons to go into instead. I don't know. Wait, you're Temtem, that battle style. You're not one of them? No. Here's a bunch of boring quests describes the vast majority of MMOs. And that's where I usually lose interest in them. Because, like, I got my grumps about, say... let's see. Now's probably a fine time for me to use the Temessence Vial. My guys are all starting to get down to the yellows. Let's not use Nyx, actually. Do we keep using Gas Bag? Because I want to get Gas Bag up. Please don't get upset. We have nothing to do with that lady. Yeah, listen to her. We're just tourists. We know nothing of the local customs and never meant to offend. I'll teach you a lesson. No, it's a misunderstanding. Haha. One of you ever played Asheron's Call? Nope. Like I said, pretty much any boring quest to just keep you doing stuff, that's usually where I lose interest in any game, period. It's not that, like, that quest design doesn't have an appeal. It's just, like, I would much rather play, like, to be honest, I'd much rather play the single-player equivalent, which would be, you know, Shadow of War, or really any classic Ubisoft, like, open world exploration game. Because in those, I really do feel like, yeah, sure, it's a boring grind, but the gameplay itself really carries it a little bit further. And so it's less of a problem. Like, I can happily play, say, a Far Cry game for hours on end. I don't think I will stream any more Far Cry games, because they're fun, but they just do ass on my channel. But, like, at least I feel like I'm kind of doing something. Whereas normally when I'm playing, like, an MMO, it's just kind of like, I am just doing nothing, and nothing is happening. You can always go the direction of EVE Online. Players just create content. I feel like that's absolutely a lightning strikes twice. Lightning rarely strikes twice situation. Where, like, sure, maybe, but chances are, you just try and do that sort of thing and it would go poorly. The easiest example I can think of that kind of is in that same vein is there's an MMO called Albion Online that is very much modeled after the, like, players create the content-ish, there's a couple of dungeons and some other things, but otherwise, like, the big focus is on world exploitation and, like, PvP and stuff, and I just found that game incredibly boring. A delightful duel of skills indeed. Thank you very much for the match. Freaking tourists. Hey, are we out of... I think we are... Nope, there's this last guy. Let's switch out Gas Bag for... Last, probably? Would be good. Another traveler. Safe travels, my friend. And welcome to the best spot in Gifted Bridges. Nice tall grass close to the Emporium where your Temtem need to be patched up. You can even take a swim to cool off. Only thing I'm missing was some action, and then you came along. Let's make it a perfect day. Let's see, new Far Cry game is just 5 repainted and less interesting. I did like the visual change, though. It seemed a lot more, colorful, which, I mean, admittedly, Far Cry 4 wasn't that terrible about it, but, like, I like me some color. That's a tougher Barnchy, but Genki solves problems. Also, thank you, Wayne X, for the 613 sub. Thank you so much. Congratulations, traveler. This battle is yours, and deservedly so. Freaking face, always. Alright, are we good? We're safe. Oh, this used to be a full-on center. Now it's just a little pit stop. I think I like the pit stops better. It makes a lot more sense. That time I took a break and you took over the shop, eh, Nicoletta? Oh, sorry. Welcome. How can I help you today? Bye. So, anything new I can buy? Ah, Balm Plus. Ooh, that's pricey. I can start affording some of these things, but probably not worth it in the long run for me. Let's see, how many Tem cards do I have? I guess there's not a whole lot to catch, but I'll buy 10 more. I'm sure there's going to be the Tem card plus fairly soon. So I want to take a look at capture lists for a second. Because now I'm in a completely different zone. So, if I go back to the last bit of grass, we could get a Saipat back there. Let's see, there's a spot with Hocus. Oh, but I gotta climb for that. I think the rest of this requires me to swim. It's a little harder. Let's see. Is there a way to check... Is this the overall map? It seems like there's more to this now. The map doesn't seem to be as filled out as it used to be. I don't know. I'll do some research. Looks like there's a lot of Temtem. But no, we want to take a look at... Not the caves. Windward Fort. They've got Teterus, Fomus, Scales, Scunches, which I should probably evolve a scale to get a Scunch, Barnshi, Saipat, Umishi, Genki, and Nestlas. I think the water types I have to get the surfboard first, though, which means I have to clear it. Yeah, so Windward Fort is next. It does seem like there's some things to bother catching with. Let's see. Apparently... Oh no, Zadar's where I came from. This list is weirdly organized. Like, really strangely organized. Well, one way or another, it doesn't look like I can actually really see a very good list on what spawns where again. Hopefully that map gets expanded at some point, or maybe it is and I just can't see it on my phone. One way or another, I don't want to progress too far without Shell, so I'm going to be right back. See how she's feeling, see how she's doing. And then we'll probably at least clear part of the fort before I go, before I stop. We'll see. But one way or another, I must pee.